Okay, so welcome to our week 3 exercise number 4 directly. It's a landscape digital drawing exercise there, okay? So this is basically some fundamental and foundations kind of step of working with these illustrations there. But the way that I actually execute these illustrations can be a part of your routine when you want to develop your skills there, okay? So what happens there? All right. It's okay, Shivleni, okay? I'm not looking for, because you still have time to complete the whole 3 illustrations within this week, okay? So make sure you don't actually write delaying your exercise there, okay, Shivleni? All right, unless you're happy to see me back again for another semesters, right? Those are the things there. All right. Still have time as you learn me. I really want to help you basically this semester to execute correctly, okay? So make sure you work on it. Please basically prepare your screen and prepare also your tools and your reference and photos there, okay, to work on that. And I guess some of you guys who actually have been execute correctly and have been sending over your assignments and your exercise, thank you very much for your contributions there, okay? So we just want to have a very what we call that casual kind of consultation there. If anyone have any kind of inquiries there regarding to our tools, skills or methods, please let me know there, guys, before we go to holiday, all right? One of the things that you guys have to remember there, right? The methods that I actually have shown you guys for the rest of these 2 weeks and a half there, we are going to do we're going to execute and use these kind of methods later on for our assignments there. And of course, I'm going to add on another kind of methods and techniques, brushes, tools there, right, okay, and different kind of executions there, okay, that you guys can see from there. But the core kind of methods that I'm going to use is still basically based on our exercise there. The only difference is the ideas that we're going to apply from there. Alright, the ideas that we are going to apply are going to be a bit different, of course, right? But the tools are going to be almost the same there, right? Okay? The only difference is how actually you're going to develop the right kind of skill by using your own kind of individual kind of understanding there, right? Okay? According to your own kind of methods and understanding how to use the tool, the brushes, and also the tablet at the same time, alright? That's the thing, okay? The things that you have to be worried all the time, okay? Normally as a designers, as an illustrators, okay? How actually you're going to make a full use of your understanding and your skill there to develop your kind of visual works there, your kind of artworks there, okay? That's the things there, guys. Because nowadays, there's a lot of way for you guys to approach on your illustration. It doesn't have to be realistic all the time. It doesn't have to be a particular kind of only one single style at a time, okay? You guys can make it more simplified, and whatever tools that you're going to use or application that you're going to use, they are going to be executed in the same way there, okay? The only thing is how much time that you spend from there and how well you can make believe on your style can be validate for your clients in the future there, okay? You guys understand what I mean here? Yes or no? Maybe Yuki has experience there, okay? That's why she said yes. Like, how about the rest of you guys then? Alright. So, today, I just want to recap back again. Okay, I just want to recap back again there, okay? Which is okay, I actually have been demonstrate you guys, okay, demonstrate how to work and develop this kind of illustration by using reference there, okay? But if you take a look back again, I never basically focus on perfection in every single of my illustrations there. Okay, I never basically impose or basically try to push myself to go through a certain kind of realistic kind of look and feels there, right? Okay, but the right kind of execution or the right kind of what we call that visual kind of interpretations are going to be appears on my presentations when I actually choose the right kind of methods that to work with it. Okay, because as a designer, okay, we're not focusing on like a fine artist kind of visual interpretation there. Even though if you take a look at the game art kind of styles, okay, they have a certain level of details that are going to be applied on each illustrations nowadays there, right? But in the beginning of the process, you need to understand first the core kind of methods there to execute your illustrations in a more effective way with the time frame that you have. Okay, so the thing that you have to focus is the light source, the way that you execute your drawing skills there, which is you guys have learned traditionally there, right? And then how actually you're going to simplify all these kind of shapes there, right? Okay, into a bit more proper way in order for you to execute according to those references. That's all. We use reference to guide us. At the same time, we use the principle of design to simplify the things that we saw, but looking more aesthetical kind of value of understanding them by using the design kind of elements there, right? Okay, which is line, shapes, textures, colors, form, value, and tone there, right? Okay, all right. So that's the things there, guys. I didn't ask much for you guys to do those exercises there, okay? But the things that we are going to execute, everything inside your kind of experience there. But the difference is whether you actually have used your experience to develop the proper kind of skills, the right kind of skills, or you just take for granted for the rest of your times normally there, okay? Because we never thought basically we need to apply back again according to what we have learned there, okay? And you need to practice your kind of design senses by using this kind of drawing skills there. Okay, design senses by when we develop this kind of skills there. Right? So most of you guys have seen this demonstration there, okay? Hopefully, but I think Chief Lenny is not here just now there, right? So if I want to draw something by using this kind of simplification kind of styles there, okay, always seek for reference. Okay, always seek for reference there, guys. Okay, the methods that I'm going to introduce to you guys normally there, right? Okay, if I want to draw something like this, especially if you want to sketch something, start from sketch there, okay? Let's just say you want to draw some trees there. How people draw trees. I want to test you guys over here there, okay? How to draw those trees there, right? Okay? You need to know, you need to understand what type of tree that you're going to draw. For example, okay, when you start to sketch your tree there, okay, how is it you're going to sketch it, right? I'm going to sketch my tree using this kind of methods there, right? See? The tree branches there, okay? Or tree log of branches there, right? Okay? If you ask me, okay, how to draw those trees? Can you see how I actually draw those trees over here? Graphically there, okay? Graphically there, right? For example here there, right? See? Graphically there, right? Draw those trees. You see that? How I actually draw those trees? Coconut tree, for example, there. Okay, sketch there, okay? When people ask you to sketch, can you sketch some tree, for examples there, right? See? All these kind of methods there, guys, need practice there. Practice make progress, not perfections there, right? Some people say practice make perfect, that I don't believe on that. because I never seek for any perfections, because normally from my experience, when I actually want to seek for perfections, I never get it right. I will stress myself, and nowadays I lose a lot of detailing from my visions there, right? Because the age that I have right now there, I think. So I always seek for different kind of approach, okay, for my works there nowadays there, right? So now, for example, if I want to draw some, what we call that, a banana tree there, right? Okay, banana tree here. See, I simplified the shapes there. See, bananas there, right? Trees. See, all this what we call that understanding how you execute and design back again your works. Okay, let's just say some a Christmas tree, for example, there, right? Okay, sketch kind of line there, please. Okay, sketch there, right? Okay, how you execute your sketches there, right? Okay, all this kind of what we call that understanding, even though you can draw a simple kind of shapes like this one there, okay, as an icon there, okay, there. There, it can be there, guys. Okay, all these kind of ideas of working with this kind of elements there, okay. If you understand how to work correctly later on, okay, for example, I want to draw back again this tree there, right? Using the lasso tools, and make sure the feathers are going to be off to 0% per inch there, right? Okay, can you see the right, the shape itself when I design them? Now I'm going to use those okay, grayscale kind of tones over here. There. Okay. So right here, what I can do from here, I can add another layers there, because these techniques require a few number kind of layers depending on the way that you're actually going to execute those kind of shapes there, right? There. Okay. Now from here, if I want to create some textures there, right? Sorry. Okay, the textures itself, right here there, right? I'm going to use alternate for those lasso tools there. See? For example here, right? But I redesigned the shape itself there. Because the light came from this side, so the tone are going to be right here there. So what I'm going to do right here, using okay, different kind of saturation for the tone there, right? There. See the patterns there, right? That I create from here. Okay, the patterns of those three there, okay. So from here, if I want to improvise those line works there, right, or those kind of textures there, right, I can actually use also those ultimate pen thick and thin, then reduce a bit the line works there, right? See? So we're talking about the element of design there, guys, that we produce right here. Okay, when we design those kind of trees there, right, we're talking about those, how to execute those element of design from here, because what I'm trying to do right now is not basically some realistic kind of illustrations, but I'm basically using shapes kind of methods there to work with these illustrations over here. Okay, we're redesigning those iconic kind of shapes there for this tree. Okay, there. So what I'm going to do right now, there. Okay, develop the shapes of the tree there, right? When I'm satisfied with it, I can actually merge the layers over here. Then I can use a lot of this element later on, duplicate, and of course I can actually can flip horizontals there, and I can reduce the size. You cannot enlarge there, okay, because the size are going to be limited with the resolutions there. Then I can duplicate more, alright, where I can actually execute with these visuals over here, duplicate more there, okay, to repeat basically those kind of three elements that I saw there, okay, that I can make into my own compositions there. Okay, make my own compositions like this one, okay. So this is one of the way you guys can actually using basically Photoshop or AI basically, or any kind of application there to design your own tree elements. Who says basically we have to draw those three looks realistic, but we can redesign them back again using this kind of methods there, right? Even though if I want to draw these, because you have to do some research at the same time, so I have to work on that. For example, if I want to draw these coconut tree there, right, see, using the shape itself there, right, okay. Am I actually using my sketches all the time there? My sketches basically is a part of those guidelines, guys. A guideline for me. Okay? It's a guideline for me. Backspace. Okay, for example over here. And then I can actually okay, the highlight came from this side there. So maybe the shadow side will fall off right here. Okay, we're talking about design right now there, guys. Okay, we're talking about design over here because you're graphic designers there, okay? So I'm going to execute these illustrations kind of works as a design kind of thing there. See? So right now what I can do from here, okay, using brush tools, now I can actually execute those kind of line works, or you can use more light kind of colors to make a contrast there, right? See, but not too much there, right? Huh? Just the indications of the textures line that represent those leaves there. Okay, there. Then I can duplicate. I'm showing basically you guys these tricks there, right? And this trick I'm going to use a lot later on for my works there. See? Draw the coconut tree there, right? Who says basically it's hard to draw trees there? Alright, maybe the coconut a little bit more lighter like this one there, right? And then the shapes there, right? Because the highlight came from this side. Okay, then what I can do, I can draw some highlights over here. See? Coconut tree there, right? What else there we can do from here? Now I'm going to draw those. So add new layers there first. Okay, then the highlight came from this side, so basically this side are going to be a bit more, all right, like this side there, right, like these shapes there. So the coconut tree basically, right, they have this kind of what we call that, the branches have this kind of what we call that textures there, right? Yeah. So the next thing that I'm going to do, brush tools, there, right? Yeah. So I'm going to draw some textures line there, right? See? Yeah. Using the line works there, guys, okay? Using basically the line works there, and some circling kind of textures kind of line there, okay? To give a bit more detailing there, right? There. See? So I have a coconut trees over here. Alright. So I can actually write copy there, okay? Scale it down. I can actually write duplicate them, right? And change the arrangements there. Rename them, okay? So I'm showing you guys right now how to execute your illustration first using the lasso kind of techniques there, right? So just now basically I'm using reference that works. Now I'm using my imaginations there, but of course if you want to execute correctly, please refer first a reference before you're going to draw like this one there, right? Looks quite easy, okay, but basically is an advanced technique for illustrators there to illustrate those visuals. If I want to draw some leaves there, okay, using the same lasso kind of methods there, you see? See? Then alternate backspace. I can using basically this is basically what we'll call that I can duplicate them. Okay, take a look there, guys. I teach you guys how to work smart there, right? For your design and the background there. Sorry there, right? Okay, what else that we can do from here? I can draw those rocks. Okay. Okay, rocks there, right? And of course create new layers at the same time there. Don't forget to rename your files there, right? Maybe a bit more lighter there right here. And those shadows, just like that we did in our exercise just now in our lecture class there, right? Now actually I bring over those understanding there and skills that I actually developed from those kind of what we call that reference that I get into these exercise there, into these illustrations there. See, I can use them, I can scale them there, right? To produce one imaginations kind of landscape element there. Okay, especially on the nature's kind of part there. Okay, So this is basically a valuable kind of skills there that you guys can actually execute in the futures there, right? If you want to develop basically back again your kind of techniques in illustrations. It gives an advantage for a person there, okay, individually to develop their own kind of way on approaching those illustrations there. They make believe there, okay? If you want to draw buildings, also the same thing there, right? They use the same methods there, only the styles of drawings are going to be different. Okay? Alright, so what's next that we can do from here? I want to design basically, for example, this is my sketches. Okay, let's just say a ground there, right? Okay? But please don't do this kind of exercise, okay, if you don't have reference, okay? I want to make sure that you guys have reference there. So whatever that you're going to do, make sure you have reference there, guys. Okay, this is basically some a low horizontal kind of ground there, right? Okay, low horizontal kind of ground there. So what I'm going to do here has to be a bit more lighter there, right? Okay, so this is basically the ground. And I can actually design basically some shadows right here. Okay. There. Okay, some shadows there, right? Okay. Simple kind of execution on shadows there. There, some shadows there, right? So the next thing that we can do from here, the background here, right? Grayscale, the background there. Then you get this background there, okay? And you can get the depth of field based on this one, okay? The depth of field there. So what's next that we can do from here? The clouds there. Okay, clouds there, right? The formations of clouds there. But if you take a look right now, when I actually execute these illustrations, I make it the formations of this element and compositions becoming balanced there, right? Okay, there's a balance between every single illustration that you saw from here, every single element that you saw from here. Okay, so right now, using light colors there, brush tools, sorry, I'm using basically soft brushes. Okay, for those people say that, okay, oh, it's hard to draw or paint basically clouds there, right? Who say it's hard there, right? Using a soft line, soft kind of brushes there, you can actually design those clouds there. Okay, and they have some sort of like depth of fields at the same time to work. And of course, you want to make it a bit more advanced, you also have to add some shadows there, right? Okay? And you have to paint differently there, okay? But right now, my kind of objective with that, the whole compositions become a bit more, there's a principle that apply from there. They show depth of fields, they have some distance at the same time, okay? Even though the ground itself, if I want to create some sort of like a depth there, right, okay? I can do some selections right here using a different tone of colors there, right? Use brush tools. Actually can add some sort of depth there, right? See? Okay, the foregrounds are become a bit more darker there, okay? Some of tone there. See? Even though I can use gradients, but I'm willing to use basically my own kind of paint kind of understanding there, highlight a little bit on that to show some depth more there, right? Okay, if I want to show more depth from here, okay, this is basically the clouds there, right? So what I can do, add another layers there for the mountains there, right? Okay, now what I can do from here, okay, is I can use also different kind of tone, okay, for this background there, right? And I can actually write, okay, well, this one is too dark there, I think, so I have to add a bit more highlight there, see? And a bit kind of tones a bit right here. Why there is a tone over here? Because there's a clouds at the back there, right? Okay, so you can show basically the depth of field based on this particular kind of compositions there. So the most what we call that popular kind of element that I'm going to use for the foreground normally. So there's a tree log over here, or maybe some roots there, right? Okay, that I'm going to apply from here there, right? When you talk about natures or environments there, right? So what I'm going to do right now, they're going to be a bit more darker kind of tones over there, see? To show some depth of fields there. And what else I can actually add from here? I can add also some shadows there, to show a bit more kind of details there. See? Some details there, right? So I can do more and more from here if I want to there, right? Okay? For this foreground there, right? Elements, to show some depth of fields there, right? What I can do also from here, some sort of like grasses there. Using those lasso there, right? But of course, there has to be look natural there all the time. Because the formation of grass normally, if you saw basically, okay, they will look naturally because the formation is not basically like we plan, okay, but we draw the visuals, the illusion of this grass there, okay, using this kind of shapes there. All the things that you saw in this world where they designed it, okay, they has that kind of illusion of shapes there. So what I can do from here, I just paint them out there, right? See? Now you can see the depth of field between the grass and also the backgrounds, the middle ground and the backgrounds at the same time. Okay, these techniques is one of the tricks that I use a lot in my illustrations kind of works. But I'm using coloring methods. Okay, how actually I simplify shapes and make believe those kind of elements can be produced as a part of the way to produce on illustrations there. But there has a lot of major kind of detail that you can actually add around these methods. So you need to practice a lot in order to develop the skills there. Okay? Any questions? Any kind of inquiries about these techniques? Guys? Do you have any inquiries there, guys? Get to work on it.
So,
yes?
for the clouds, can I know which kind of brush did you use?
Which type of brush did I use this?
For the clouds?
Yeah?
Yeah, can I know what type of brush is this?
I'm using soft brushes only there, right? Okay, general brushes to work on that. Chef Lenny, right, okay, please also refer my illustrations kind of demos that I did in my YouTube channels there, right, okay? Alright, if you can check back again some of my previous kind of illustrations, demonstrations, okay, in these channels there. Please take a look back again, right, okay? I've introduced you guys a few number kind of brushes here, okay, especially in the beginning of our week 1 exercise until week 2 there, right, okay, on portrait illustrations projects there, Japan, okay. But for today, I'm only using 2 different brushes that works there. Okay? I think 3 different brushes there. Okay. One of the brushes that I use is a general brushes there, which is soft brushes. Okay, to add some shadings there, and soft kind of what we call that paint kind of styles when I actually want to paint these clouds there, right? But I'm using lassos to develop those selections for my paint kind of styles there. Okay, and then I'm using ultimate pencil heart, basically pencil heart, to sketch my drawing kind of strokes and line there, right? Okay, and I'm using ultimate ink and thin pencil to draw some textures kind of line there, right? Okay, textures kind of line. All right, that's basically the difference there. So generally, basically the right, okay, you guys can actually get all these brushes in your Photoshop. Okay? Even though if you're using what we call that, if you use basically a Procreate applications or Clip Studio Paint, all these brushes have been included in that application. You just have to know when and where, how basically going to use these tools, okay, correctly to work with. Okay. All right, Chef Rennie, are you ready? To share your screens? Alright, the rest of you guys, do you have any inquiries and questions there? On our tools that I use right now and today, right? And of course, right, one of the things that you have to remember if you want to apply these methods and techniques, always refer to those reference there, right? Okay, for example, 3 photos there, right? Okay, try to find and do some research a bit, alright, okay? How to draw a few number kind of 3, but don't just trace from other people's illustrations only there, okay? Try to find some of the reference like this and you redraw and simplify back again. Okay, this is also some of the traditional kind of methods that we can apply back again in our digital kind of skills there, right? Okay, the methods is almost the same there, guys. Okay, for example, if I want to use this kind of methods that to work with my illustrations there, okay, let's just say that, right? Okay, I just draw a few number kind of shapes like this. Okay, the shapes, right? Okay, there has to be look. The shapes has to be looks believable, there, guys. You just cannot simplify the shapes by applying the things who doesn't exist there, right? Okay. Okay, for example, like this one here, right? For the shape itself. Because the watercolor techniques, right, it requires basically some spontaneous kind of look and feel here. So what I'm going to do right now, okay, if I'm going to use these different kind of brushes there, right? I don't know whether I have this kind of brushes right here or not. Right? So what I can actually try to experiment right here. Oops. Okay, let me check it, guys. Flows, and I get there, right? But I have to experiment a little bit. I'm going to paint right here, like this one. This is all paint kind of brushes there, right? Okay, all paint kind of brushes there. I never used this brush before. So even though you want to paint like this one, okay, it has to be include the shadows there, where basically the shadow is going to be formed off there, right? See, this all paint is a bit more like a brush there, okay? Dark tones from the back there, okay, from the bottoms there, right? And then I'm going to improvise basically those shadows there. Yeah, right. Press a little bit, where I can mix them up there, those paint styles there, right? So from here, if I want to add some shadings there, right, from the side there, right? May I know who actually opened up those microphones over here? Anyone actually open up those microphones there? Please double check there, guys. So what I can do from here, okay? Maybe I can imitate using different brushes there. This one, a blender there, right? Strength, change a little bit. Yeah. So I just experiment with these brushes there, guys, okay? See? So what I can do from here, I can use also these special effect brushes that I love, okay, all the time at all. Reduce opacity a bit. I use basically those size there, and I mix them up. Oops, sorry there, right? Where basically these layers there. Can I actually use these layers there to paint? Normally the new features, okay, the brushes there, right? The brushes. That's why it kind of happens there, right? Brushes. Just now it won't happen because I'm using different kind of brushes there. I've noticed there, right? You just the flows, then see. Alright. So I try to imitate basically the layering methods, just like by using watercolors there. Like watercolors kind of techniques there. So this is also one of them that you guys can actually experiment back again. Okay, experiment back again there, right? So I'm going to combine these two there, right? First, then maybe I can use, all right, light colors there. See. Okay, very interesting kind of brushes there, guys, okay, to imitate, okay, those illustrations there. So from here I can add more and more details if I want to. Okay. Add some of more shadows like this one already. For example, like this one over here. Okay, click shift. Of course, this part basically I have to leave a little bit there, okay, on the highlights there. And from here normally, okay, if I don't want to paint, I can actually use copy and paste and multiply there, okay, for the shadows there. See, I can create multiply for the shadows, so I can create different kind of way of approaching those kind of tree design there, okay, to work with the illustration styles. So there's a lot of way there, guys, okay, that you guys can execute there, okay, to develop your graphical kind of illustrations there, not just by applying only one single styles all the time there, right? Okay, so I'm giving you guys some tricks right now how to develop graphically on your illustrations there. It can be applied also on human being, on any characters that you want in the futures there, right? Okay, if you can actually change the perceptions and your kind of understanding there to execute your design kind of process of working. Okay, so even though when I'm going to arrange basically this kind of what we call that example like this one there, right? Even though I will try to find a proper kind of way to approach this compositions there. I'm not just simply put any way that I want there, right? So change different layers there, different parts there, okay, to work on that. For examples there, I know basically it's not going to be fit there, right? Okay, but this is one of the things that I can actually show you guys how actually we can execute some of the methods and techniques in the features that you work with your illustration styles. Even though, for example, like this grass there, right, foreground over here, okay, if I'm going to use brushes there, the effect brushes, special effect brushes like this one, take a look at it. You can see there, right? Different kind of patterns there that I actually produce from here. You see? Different kind of patterns there. To get some different kind of textures for our elements there, right? We don't have to draw all details all the time there, guys. But in a proper kind of executions or brush tool that you guys can use and ideas there at the same time, you guys can produce different kind of way for your design there, right? Think right now as a designer there. So I'm combining some of the line works over here. Okay, the line works there, okay? To give it more like contrast from foreground, middle ground and background for my compositions here. Okay? Any kind of questions? Any kind of questions there? Any kind of inquiries there, guys? No? Alright, if you don't have those kind of inquiries there, Chef Lenny, are you ready there, Chef Lenny? What do you do for your computers there, I guess, Chef Lenny? You have to reduce a little bit kind of, you have to delete some of the unimportant kind of files there on your computers.
Yes, sir, because before this I opened the Photoshop, it was fine, and now I'm trying to make sure that
you check basically back again your space there, okay, your hard disk space there, okay. Maybe there's a lot of what we call that. Chef Lenny, okay, do you have any previous kind of illustration work that I can see from your previous developments? Can you share with us today? Please, there, right, okay? I want to see
Sir,
your
in
level of
previous
skill that you developed there, right?
previous set, sir.
Okay. Alright, the rest of you guys, if you don't have any questions, start to develop the skills there, okay? This kind of stuff there before we dismiss the guys. Okay? Guys, tomorrow is a Chinese New Year there, right? Or Wednesday? Tomorrow there, right? Oh, that means today basically we're going to have a big kind of what we call that makan besar, is it right? Alright, I don't want to what we call that interrupt basically your holidays kind of moves there. Okay? Alright? Yeah, alright. Now I'm hungry there, guys. Now I felt a bit hungry there, right? Shalini, do you have anything that you can share with us there, right? And the rest of you guys, what do you think about it? Marcus, are you ready, Marcus? Alright, let Marcus actually demonstrate a little bit there, right, okay? On what we actually have been working on for today. Hopefully you can actually execute that. Is anyone want to volunteer after Marcus before we actually take a look at Shivleni, kind of what we call that sample of working, right? Okay? Please let me know that, right? Okay, Marcus, are you ready to share your screen? I just want to buy you guys, okay, a few minutes only there, right? Okay, I know basically you guys have holiday mode right now there, right? Okay, thank you, Marcus. Alright, good there, right? Okay, looks like you get the right kind of methods there, Marcus, to work on it. The clouds there, right? Okay? Oh, this is basically a reference, is it? Reference it, or paint styles there. Well, it's a reference, right, Marcus? If this is a reference,
Yes.
it's a good choice of reference.
Reference.
Yeah?
Yeah, reference.
Reference, okay? Alright, it's a good choice of reference there. So you can see clearly how actually you can actually use the lasso tools, what we call the fill-in colors there, and draw some textures there, okay? Using this reference there. Good there, Marcus. You can try to use that kind of methods right now to show us what you got from here. Okay, start with sketch there, right? Using those pencil kind of brushes. Okay, good. Make sure the resolution is 150 dpi there, guys, okay? 150 dpi there, right? You can zoom in a little bit, right, okay, Marcus, in order to capture a little bit more detail on your drawings there before you add some colors there, right? Capture some of the details there, Marcus, there, right? Don't draw the outline only there, okay? Draw the textures line, etching line there, okay? And the shadows kind of line and strokes there, right? When you draw them. Okay, I'm going to capture the screen there. I will show you later on how it works there, okay? And remember one thing, guys, okay? The methods that I show you guys is not basically based on my drawing skills there only. I'm producing this kind of methods for you guys. I'm showing you guys this method because I want to show you guys the right way to execute your drawing line, not only my drawing line there. This is basically not the strokes that I produce for myself there. I've learned also from most of the resources that I can get, okay, from my gurus, from my lecturers, from my friends, and also try to what we call that, read and also do some research more, okay, how to draw correctly right now to develop the right kind of strokes. Okay, zoom in a little bit there, Marcus, there, okay. Try to execute the drawing line there first before you add some shapes there, right, and shadings. Okay, for example there, Marcus, maybe you not get it correctly right now there, okay. So thank you very much, Marcus, for your time there, right, for your contributions over here. Alright, what I mean by that, alright, if you take a look over here, if I want to draw something, okay, either I'm going to using pencil brushes, okay, not ink brushes, right. Take a look how I actually draw, okay. I will zoom in there, Marcus, right. And zoom in and take a look how actually I draw things. See? So the shadows line that I saw from here, right? You see that, Marcus? And the rest of you guys there, okay? Take a look how actually I draw things there. This is basically the shadows line when I produce, okay? I draw basically this kind of etching kind of lines over here. Take a look there, right? So the textures line that I produce right now, we produce the form of those trees. See? Alright. Of course, right here, because I don't have the clear kind of photos there, it doesn't mean that I cannot actually draw them, right? So to draw the trees directly, the line works that you produce right now will indicate those kind of textures there, okay, on those trees. See? This is what you're supposed to do there first, Marcus, there, right? So draw the trees a lot before you're going to execute this exercise there. See? The textures that you saw from this tree there, right? You won't be able to get it right if you don't actually have enough experience to draw a tree. Looks like easy there, okay, to draw this exercise there, right? But indicate those experience there. It will require a lot of experience there to work with this particular kind of style. Can you see there, right? The drawing itself, it shows basically the three elements there when I draw things. Okay? That's the first thing that you have to practice there, guys. Okay, not to fill in the colors there first. Okay? Learn to develop those drawing kind of line all the time there, okay? If I'm going to use different kind of brushes, this one I'm using pencil brushes there, right? Let's just say if I'm going to use these ink brushes there. I'm going to use the same kind of executions. Okay? Okay, of course I'm going to reduce the size there first. So take a look how actually I draw them there, using the ink brushes there. You see? I'm not tracing them there, right? But I'm drawing them there. See? I'm drawing them, right? Just now, when you saw basically Marcus were working there again, he tried to trace them those lines. but I try to draw. There's the two different things between drawing and tracing there, right? Remember that. Okay. See there, right? We are drawing those lines there using the contour line drawings, but a little bit more faster, right? Okay? To indicate those textures there, right? Okay? That the visual that makes basically the visual that we create right now that makes what we draw look like a tree because of those lines that we produce there, right? Okay? Some mixtures of line there, right? And strokes at the same time there, guys. See? Yeah. Okay, from this part, okay, if I want to indicate different kind of line there, okay, different kind of branch there, okay, small branches I can. See? It doesn't make any kind of what we call that awkward kind of what we call that elements that we produce over here. Why? Because we can actually play with our imaginations there. Imaginations doesn't mean that you have to draw robots there, guys, or some fancy kind of cool kind of things there. You want to develop your imaginations, this is a part of it. Okay? Start with these very small things there, please. Can you see? They look like a tree there, right? So make sure you draw correctly and try to observe things really well there. Alright? Before you're going to add another kind of advanced element, what I'm trying to do right now, I didn't show you guys any advanced kind of way of working there. Only a foundation there. So if you can execute correctly, then you in the right kind of phase there, okay, to develop skills. Okay, everyone. Only Shuki basically, okay, give some response, okay, all the time, okay. How about the rest of you guys there? Sarah, are you okay? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Can you execute
Yeah.
correctly?
Sorry?
Have you got those tablets there?
Sorry, sir?
Have you got those tablets? The pen tablets?
I got the extension, the connector. Yeah.
Now you're actually using those tablets, right?
Yeah, I use it for the second exercise. I mean, the week 2 exercise.
Can you share with us there, right? Your screen?
Yeah.
Just to test basically how well you actually been execute correctly on those.
Okay.
Okay, before we dismiss there, right? Chief Lenny, did you find basically your previous kind of works? We just want to see that, okay? Just share with us, okay? Because I'm also do the same, a lot of mistakes all the time. That don't feel shy to share that, okay? Because among our friends, we will learn from there, right? Okay. Okay, Sarah.
Yes, I do have, but I couldn't find anything in my previous one.
You have that, right?
Sorry, sir? Yeah, I have it, but I couldn't open anything right now, so everything is stuck.
It's okay. Share it later on there, right? Okay. I want to see, okay, those kind of works there. You can share on my WhatsApp there, right? Okay.
So I'm really sorry, sir.
It's okay there, okay. Please don't actually make some excuses later on, okay. Prepare yourself there, okay, all the time, okay.
Yes, I should, sir.
Okay, let's take a look over here. All right, you have that kind of control brushes there, right? Good. Please don't actually draw too much on the what we call that eyelash or eyelid there, right? Okay, because they're going to be look weird a little bit there, Sarah. Okay, when you draw them. Okay, when we actually draw too much on the eyelid there, okay, they're going to look a bit weird, okay. Unless you want to produce a fashion or a styles of illustrations there, okay. Low battery now, Sarah, there, okay. Can I see basically those reference, Sarah? Your reference there before your battery are going to be off, okay. Okay. Open up basically the backgrounds there, layers there. Okay. So the thing is right now that you have to what we call that develop the Sarah, okay. The proper kind of way to control the strokes, okay, when you start to develop all these kind of drawings there, right? Okay, back again using pencil brushes you start with, and then you continue with ink brushes there, right? Okay. So the strokes is no problem there. Okay? There is no problem with the strokes, with the pressure kind of point strokes. The only thing is how you actually are going to redevelop back again your kind of understanding when you want to draw using these kind of tools there, right? Okay, Sarah, okay, last thing there, okay. Can you actually find some reference on landscapes kind of photos that we actually can see how well you start to draw those kind of things back again? I just want to see how you draw them there, right? Okay, this photo is also fine there, right? How long we have there, okay, before your battery getting low there, right? Okay, pace, reduce opacity, and start to draw there, right? I just want to see how you actually move your hands when you draw them. How actually move the strokes there, right?
I'm taking my charger now.
Mm-hmm.
1 second.
Guys, okay, important there, guys, okay. One of the most important thing that you guys have to challenge yourself is to draw correctly there first, okay. After that, okay, we can actually execute our illustration style in using those lassos, using those shapes there, right? Okay, simplify those elements there, right? Okay, those who actually really cannot draw really well, they always have an option for you guys to execute your illustration tools. One of the way is by using those lasso tools there, okay? But you have to select them correctly and have the eyes of details there, okay? Okay. Zoom in a little bit there, right? First, use the brushes there to draw there, right? Go those elements there. Alright. Okay, select to the layer 2, not layer 1 there, right? Okay, zoom in. Okay, start to draw the branch there first, okay, rather than those leaves there, okay? Because there's a lot of textures that you require from there. I just want to see how you draw those branches there, right? And the lot itself there, right? Zoom in a bit. Can you zoom in more? A bit more? A bit more closer, okay, good. The resolution is 150 there, right? Go to image size there, right? Image size 72 there. Alright, open up new files. Don't change this one there, right? Open up new files there, right? Because if you increase the resolution right here, the what we call that the image is still going to be bad there, right? They're going to be blurred there, right? A4 size 150 resolutions there, right? 8 by 11 inch. Okay, good. Okay, paste back again. Scale, reduce opacities, open up new layers, and then start to draw there, right? Okay, zoom in a bit, Sarah, there, right? You want to draw those trees, zoom in a little bit, and try not to draw the outline, but draw the textures line on those trees there, okay? To indicate those drawing line there, right? Draw some textures line on the shadows there. Instead, you draw the outline only there. You saw just now, actually, I moved the line works there, right? Draw the textures line there.
You mean the last?
Yeah? Not using lasso tools there, right? Okay? Draw the line works, okay? The textures line there, okay? The what we call that those etching kind of line there, right? I want to see your drawing line when you draw those trees. Just now when you saw basically based on Marcus kind of drawing there, right? Can you see how I actually draw the textures line over here? Okay? Can you see that?
Okay.
Can you see that, Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's basically the line works that we want to produce there. When you talk about the drawing line there. Okay, practice your drawing line, not the outline there. When you draw the outline like this, it's indication basically we tracing them, right? We're not actually applying the drawing strokes there, right? You don't have to use too small kind of line works there, right? Okay? Oh yes, okay, that's it there, right? Okay, that's it there, right? Okay, always practice to draw, okay, according to those reference line there, right? Okay, but of course you have to press a little bit like some of the areas there, right? Okay, just now basically you draw on the layer one, right? In order basically to understand about these techniques, you must be able to enjoy drawing. That's the thing, right? Why we actually draw some etching from certain areas, because we saw basically the shadows have been fall off to form the structures at that particular kind of surface. That's why we draw those kind of etching line for the shadows there, okay, to indicate the shadows line there, right? The shadows basically form the textures from those surface. Okay, so the shadows are going to be formed the textures for the surface, for the certain kind of surface, just like when you draw human, also the same thing there, right? Alright, okay, yes, okay. You're doing great there, Sarah, there, okay? You're doing great there, okay? But just to develop more confidence when you draw them, there, right? Look carefully to your subject matters there, guys, okay? All the time there, guys. Always look at the reference and your subject matters all the time. How do you create all these kind of textures? Using the line works there. Remember one thing there, guys, okay? People who cannot draw well traditionally, right, they have that kind of understanding. You guys can improve a lot of your skills by using the tablets there, right? Because I'm also have that kind of experience, even though I can draw there, okay? But when I actually write, converting my, what we call that, converting basically my platform, my drawings there, okay, my illustration kind of tools there, using digitals, okay, I find out that there's a lot of things that I cannot do it before traditionally, okay. I can actually execute a more better way using digital kind of tools there, right? It will take some time there, okay, but the more that you actually knowing how to execute correctly, you can see a lot of improvement in your drawings there. Sarah, you're doing good there, right? Okay, so the rest of you guys can actually apply the same thing, but of course when you apply different kind of textures, different kind of surface, they're going to require different kind of strokes lah. Okay, but try not to draw. Don't apply the same method that you actually have produced that before. Okay, Sarah and the rest of you guys, they're right. Always define the shadows that apply from these elements there. Then you actually can execute those kind of textures really well. Okay. Okay, right. You're doing great, Sarah. Okay. Continue work on it. Alright, and apply them in each kind of drawing. Try to get used to it, try to get confidence with it, and try to get comfortable with the tools at the same time. Okay, and of course, every good things needs some time to develop. Okay, and make sure you can actually execute correctly before you graduate there. Right? Okay, anything, Sarah, you want to share? Or you want to basically ask me there, right? Hopefully there. All right, so guys, so thank you very much there, right? Okay, for having me today. Okay, basically I don't want to dismiss earlier because I know some of you guys, most of you guys who are going to celebrate, okay, for Chinese New Year tomorrow there. Okay, so I don't want to hold you guys too much there, too long. Okay, because I know that, okay, most of you guys are ready for that kind of what we call that event there, okay, for tonight and for this evening there. Okay, so thank you very much for having me today, and happy Chinese New Year, happy holidays at the same time there. Okay, take care of yourself, don't drink and drive at the same time there, right? Okay, and of course, if you enjoy your family, okay, enjoy yourself. Okay, be more grateful with what you have right now, and take care of yourself. Happy holidays. I see you guys next round, basically next week. All right, Chef Lenny, please make sure that you submit some of the works there, okay, that I want to see previously, what you have done there, okay, in digital kind of illustrations. Then hopefully we can actually get to know more on your kind of skills there, okay. So thank you very much, guys. Okay, have a good evening. At the same time, thank you very much for your contributions, and I really appreciate your time, and also hopefully you guys will learn a lot from here there, okay, and change the perception of how actually you're going to develop your illustration skill at the same time. All right, so have a good evening, happy holidays, thank you very much, take care of yourself. I see you guys around next week. Okay, bye bye, take care. All right,
Thank you so much.
welcome there, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Welcome there, right?
Bye.
Bye.